So in a minute, I want to come on to what you do now because I think it's very important. But there's a section in the book where you talk about the 12-day period, almost where the game was up, where the gamble of all gambles had kind of stopped paying, and your debts were catching up with you, and the school had found out. If I just shut up for a minute, can you tell the 12 days as you recall them?
Yeah, I think it got to the point where things had got really desperate, and I knew at some point, as I said, I was going to get found out. I just didn't know when that was going to be, and I'd exhausted every avenue you could possibly imagine to get money. I'd started to sort of say things and do things that I probably shouldn't have done, and essentially, one of the 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 people that I'd borrowed money off rightly for the first time questioned me in a way that was very directed and said, "Is it gambling?" Um, and whilst people had mentioned it before, I'd been very quick to dismiss it and I'd got away with it. But this time it was, well, it was almost like they knew it was gambling. And as soon as that happened, I thought, okay, I've been found out here. Um, and you never really know how you're going to deal with that moment. And I panicked. And the irony of a gambling addiction, I always say, is that the thing that has got you into it in the first place is the only thing you genuinely believe can get you out of it. No alcoholic ever tries to drink themselves sober. But as a gambling addict, I always believed that gambling would be the solution. And it then became a matter of, okay, I realize and I accept that there's going to be some consequences to what I've done, and the secret's going to be revealed, and ultimately I'm probably going to lose my job, which of course I cared about, but I thought I can get another job. Similarly with my house, I was living in school accommodation, so I knew that came with it, and I thought I'm probably going to lose my house, but again, I can find somewhere else to live. The two things that were highest on my agenda was, one, am I going to go to prison? Which I believed I would do for some of the things that I'd done, but also the financial side of things, that I owe an awful lot of people money and I owe it to them now. And so, actually, if I can get rid of that, I can get rid of the kind of element of prison or charges that might come with it. Because if ultimately, if everybody's got their money back, we're okay. And I did exactly that. I tried to gamble my way out of it by borrowing more money. Uh, it was the start of the Cheltenham Festival, the biggest horse racing festival in the world, and over the course of the 4 days, I gambled all day, every day. I won, I lost. I can never explain to anybody how stressful it was, what I was going through, and I had one extraordinary piece of luck. I won a life-changing sum of money, but actually it was meant nothing to me because now it was a matter of literally life and death. And because time was running out, I decided to, for want of a better word, hedge my bets. I put all the money that I'd earned over those few days on one bet, on one horse race, the Cheltenham Gold Cup in 2018, and it was a case of, if this horse wins, then I win that money back. And as I say, there's consequences, but they're not as bad as they could be. And if it doesn't, then I face the worst consequence, and that is I'm going to kill myself. But that is better than having to tell people what I've been doing, and the way I've affected other people. And my horse came second by a length, which at the time was the worst thing possible because my world came crashing down. Obviously, I realise now it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Um, but I thought I was faced with no option, and I tried to go through with it. I tried to kill myself in various different ways. I came pretty close, but fortunately something stopped me. And I eventually reached out to my younger brother, which was the best thing I ever did. I don't think he'll ever know how close I was or the situation I was in, because I think his reaction would have been very different. But actually, that communication was the thing that saved my life, because the turning point for me was it made me think about other people, not just myself. And I realized that actually, whilst I thought this might be the best thing for me, what's going to be left behind? Not just for those people that love and care about me and are close to me, but what about everybody else that has been through this process with me? And I thought, you know what? I can't do it to everybody else. I didn't really care about myself. I thought I can't do it to myself, to everybody else. So I decided not to throw myself in front of a train, which was what I was about to do, and took myself home and came clean. And I think that moment was so tough, but actually that was the moment where I could move forward in my life. Until I was prepared to put my hands up and say, yep, my time's up. Can't deal with this problem myself. I've tried it every way I possibly can. I can't. I need help, and I want it. Until I was prepared to do that, it wasn't going to get any better. And from that moment on, it did get better. I mean, it wasn't solved immediately. And I always say to people now, you got to reach out for help, and you got to ask people for help and tell someone. And people say, well, what happens then? Is it all solved? Absolutely not. But it's the start of that, and it's the hardest thing to do. And once you do that, there is a way forward. Until that point, there is no way forward. There's no way out.